I'm going to show you where my great-great-grandfather lived, and also where my great-grandfather was born. And for those of you foreigners watching, great-great-grandfather means the grandfather of my grandfather. Let's go. So here we are at the site of where my great-great-grandfather lived. There's not much left in this area, as you can see. This was called the village of Landris, and now it's basically a ghost town. There's still some foundations left to houses and what have you, but there's not a whole lot left. But it was just down here where my great-great-grandfather lived, and my great-grandfather was born in the house that was right here. It looks a little bit different, doesn't it? Now. So, this is the site of my great-great-grandfather's home. It's also where my great-grandfather was born. People I never knew, but people because of whom I exist. You can still see the foundations of the house where it once stood. Rocks that were part of their home. A plaque to commemorate the city that was here. City, town, 62 homes. Site of the world's first electric coal mine. People rarely know very much about their great-grandparents, and even less about their great-great-grandparents. Little did they know that more than 100 years later, their great-great-grandson would be here where they lived with a device that they probably couldn't imagine, recording the history of where they lived. Little remains, except for foundations, rocks, where buildings and houses once stood. These rocks you see here, and these rocks you see here on the ground, were the foundation of my great-great-grandfather's home. He couldn't imagine, probably, that more than 100 years later, his great-great-grandson would be here, where he lived, using a device that he couldn't imagine. He belonged to a world that was completely different than the world that we now inhabit. To him, this was a technological revolution. The site of the world's first electrified coal mine. It must have seemed like advanced technology to him at that time. And now I'm here with a video camera. Time passes. Things change.